The southernmost tip of Newport Beach, Newport Coast, features panoramic neighborhoods that span from coastal canyons to the Pacific Ocean, and each one offers a magnificent vantage point for the untouched beauty and grandeur of the expansive blue sea. Generous preserved open space, beautiful landscapes, multiple nature trails, and coastal splendor establish the character of this locale. This picturesque area is comprised of Newport Coast and Crystal Cove State Beach. Journeying through these areas will lend you to discover the newest urban developments in the city, including the resort at Pelican Hill, an ultra-luxurious 5-star property perched above 500 acres of coastline, a shopping plaza with an ocean view, an array of world-class restaurants to delight any palate, and a championship golf course with views of the Pacific from nearly every one of the 36 holes. And just across the way, you'll find an entirely different lifestyle, taking you back to the bygone days of California. Crystal Cove State Park spans 3.5 miles of pristine, uninterrupted coastline, favored by hikers, campers, and trailblazers. Nestled within the state park is the Crystal Cove Historic District, an enclave of 46 vintage rustic coastal cottages originally built in the 1920s and 1930s, nestled around the mouth of Los Trancos Creek. It is one of the last remaining examples of early 20th century Southern California coastal development.
When people think about Crystal Cove, I know they think of the cottages, they think of the Beachcomber Cafe, but that's really just the tip of the iceberg. Our organization, we're the nonprofit partner with California State Parks, and we're committed to preservation, conservation, and education. I often say my connection to Crystal Cove began before I was even born. My mother and father started tent camping here in 1930s and 40s and actually met here at Crystal Cove. I was one of those people that was fortunate enough to have grown up here and had cottage number 2 from the time I was 1 year old until I was 40. So Crystal Cove to me is something very personal, and it's a place I think is so important that we preserve for future generations. This is a place that will, in the future, will help us better understand our environment, our history, and so many things that are important to Orange County. And so we're committed to creating the next generation of environmental stewards here at Crystal Cove and leaving really a lasting legacy as we complete the final restoration here. Filmmaking has always been a big part of Crystal Cove's history. There were many films that were made here in the teens and 20s. Treasure Island was one. But more recently, the film that most people remember would be the film Beaches with Bette Midler and Barbara Hershey that was made here in 1988.
The recently restored Crystal Cove Beach cottages are located right on the sand and available to rent. But hurry, reservations are hard to get. Once there, stop in next door at the popular beachfront Beachcomber Cafe for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or enjoy a libation at 5 p.m. when the bugle is sounded and the martini flag is raised. A tradition from when families would tent camp along this picturesque coastline in the 30s and 40s. As you make your way back up the other side of Pacific Coast Highway, enjoy a hike with a view that will leave you beyond words. Simply breathtaking. For delectable delights, options range from cool treats to world-class dining. Enjoy frozen bliss at a local favorite, Shake Shack, or end your evening at the area's other premier restaurants for sunset dinners and cocktails. Known as the Pacific Riviera, where nature's palate is at work, this world-class locale is Newport Coast. Journey well.